Pirates against the Dodgers. You go, oh, it's a mismatch. But look who's on the mound. It's Skeens against Yamamoto, arguably the two best pitchers in the game. 10 o'clock Eastern right here at MLB Network. It is going to be awesome. As far as the tail of the tape, a little boxing style. Skeens 2.87 ERA, 30 strikeouts, 4 walks. That's absurd. Look at the whip, nearly identical. Then check out Yamamoto's ERA, 0.93. Almost the same amount of innings, 38-7 in the strikeout to walk ratio. So I love it. Boxing style, see why back in the day? Let's go tail the tape as we break down both of these two outstanding pitchers. First and foremost, who would you start in a one-game playoff? Skeens or Yamamoto?
This is so
right out of
tough.
the gate, I'm putting you in the fire.
You're talking about 0.93. We have to acknowledge that Yamamoto has really come into his own. He is so polished, and when you watch what he does, yes, he does not have the stature that Paul Skeens has, but he has the composure and he has the stuff that plays. And when you look at the numbers, the four-seamer and the splitter, nobody is touching that right now. Yeah. I understand. Skeens is awesome. You can't. This is a situation to where no matter who you pick, you find yourself in a good spot.
Yeah.
But when you compare the two, Skeens is probably better with his top 3 pitches: four-seam, slinker, and sweeper overall, because Yamamoto does give it up on his breaking on his curveball just a little bit more. They're both. I think Paul Skeens is going to be a more uncomfortable at bat.
We've already talked about the star power on the mounds tonight, but how about the star power on the field? You've got 4 MVPs, Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, and this guy, the ageless Andrew McCutchen, Jerry, still doing it.
Yeah, he is
for the
still
Pittsburgh
doing
Pirates. Well, I can't help but feel a little nostalgic tonight because, Nomar, this reminds me of when I was a kid and I'd race out to the curb and I would get the newspaper and I'd open up the sports page because I wanted to look at the pitching matchup for the Dodger game that night. Granted, we don't see starting pitchers pitch the way that they used to, or at least go as deep into games as the way that they used to, but it's going to be a lot of fun to watch Skeens against Yoshi tonight.
I mean, it is because, you know, going into this season, you had these two guys, and even right now, as the top 2 favorites of winning the NL Cy Young. They both have the ability and the potential of doing exactly that. We know Yoshi Yamamoto has talked about going out there and winning a Cy Young. Paul Skeens, I mean, you know, the rookie phenom last year. So it should be a very exciting matchup. We were excited about the matchup last year with last week with Yamamoto and DeGrom, and he delivered. So hopefully he delivers again today.
What's a newspaper?
What's that?
What's a newspaper? Kids 10 to like 25 are asking you that question.
Let's set it upstairs for Skeens against Yoshi, Joe, and Oral. Guys, take it away. We'll see you after the game.
All right, John, and as you start to look ahead at potential probables for series, you're thinking, okay, there's a chance, and it does line up. It's Yamamoto for the Dodgers and Skeens for the Pirates in one of the most highly anticipated matchups of the year. Welcome to Friday Night Baseball on Sportsnet LA, brought to you by Jack in the Box. We welcome you inside. Hope your weekend's off to a great start. Joe Davis or Hershiser. Kirsten Watson joins us in a moment. What a matchup this is. The best one in baseball this year. Let's start off with the Dodgers. Yoshinobu Yamamoto has looked like the perfect pitcher lately.
Yeah, when you have an ERA under 1 and you are striking people out and getting ground balls like a machine, the fastball combination with his split finger has been so locked in. Pinpoint control with the fastball sets up the window for the split. And on the other side, I would say that Skeens, when he goes against him, he's gone against DeGrom, he's gone against the Rangers, he's gone against now another great pitcher, a little weaker lineup, but a guy who can shut the Dodgers down. And Skeens is not locked in completely, but he's still in great form.
After his Rookie of the Year season, 2.87 ERA after 7 really good innings against Cleveland his last time. For more, we go down to Kirsten.
Well, Yoshinobu's going into his 6th start of the season, but if you look at those first 5, they have all been against excellent matchups. 5 of those teams, all of them above 500. 2 of them were in the playoffs last year. The other ones, well, they're leading their division. Even when he went against DeGrom last week, he said afterwards that matchup brought him a lot of joy. That's his mindset going into this one. He's excited about it, and let me tell you, so is everyone else in that clubhouse. Dave Roberts said that he goes into a different gear, and all of his teammates are thrilled to see him go head-to-head with Paul Skeens, guys.
All right, Kirsten, a couple very early Cy Young candidates facing off on a Friday night at Dodger Stadium. Good to be home where LA is 10-2 this year. We've got first pitch coming up on Sportsnet LA. And World Champion Dodger Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Jack in the Box. There's so much free food in the new Jack app, your wallet's gonna miss you.
Friday marked one of the most anticipated pitching matchups of the year, and Paul Skeens did not disappoint. He struck out 9 in 6 1/3 shutout innings. He threw a career-high 108 pitches. Meanwhile, Yoshinobu Yamamoto struggled with control. He walked a career-worst 4 batters and allowed 3 runs in 5 innings.
All right, so the Pirates win at 3-0. Let's go back to Dodger Stadium and hear from Dave Roberts with Kirsten and the media.
Yoshinobu, to see how the pitch count got up and I guess how he's able to settle back in, what was just kind of the missing factor tonight?
I think tonight for Yoshi, uncharacteristic, just command. I think that he was just missing with his fastball. The breaking ball he was just missing with. He was running deep counts. Pitch count got up certainly in that first inning. Gave up a couple 2-out base hits for some runs, which is also uncharacteristic. But I think tonight overall, he just typically has great command, and tonight he just wasn't as pinpoint.
Outside, that possibly has been excellent, but just to see how he kept your offense off balance, it's outside of Andy Pajes, what do you think was just allowed him to excel or limited your team?
Yeah, I mean, I think that he's one of the best in the game, and when he needed a strikeout, he did it in that one inning and finds a way to limit damage. Kept us off balance with his off-speed stuff, the sweeper, the splinker, obviously the fastball, it's 97, 98. Crowded our left-handers when he needed to get us off the velocity, and just tonight we just really couldn't muster much.
That was him just being dominant, which I was thinking was something you talked about, the at-bats not being consistent enough for you.
There's a little bit of both. Not to take any credit away from Skeens because he still was very good, but I think that it's hard to hit certainly guys that good when you're chasing the hitting zone versus kind of locking in on your own area. And I thought tonight, as well as days preceding, we just are not as disciplined as we need to be in certain areas of the hitting zone. So I think, but yeah, I mean, he was still good.
You guys are in day 10 since that 8-0 start. How difficult has it been for you guys to kind of find your footing?
Yeah, it's been difficult. Yeah, I mean, it's just certain nights we just can't put a complete ball game together. Starting, pitching, the hitting, timely hitting, all that stuff just hasn't been synced up, and we're not too far away. We're going to hit, and some guys are scuffling right now, but they'll find their way.
You guys have kind of trademarked your offense has been like the discipline of the plate and grinding out pitchers. Are you surprised that this kind of lack of discipline a little bit has lasted as long into the season as it has, and at what point does it become something you maybe have to be more active in addressing or something like that? There's something to that.
I think that I hate to talk about mechanics, but I do think that some guys are not kind of in a good spot mechanically where they're just not seeing the baseball like they normally do, which I think leads to some chase, maybe a little trying too hard, but yeah, I don't think it's time yet for that. I think that, we've got Roki going tomorrow, and like I said, we face one of the game's best tonight, and expect tomorrow to turn the page and be ready to create some stress and score some runs.
It's a tough one. Dodgers lost, Lakers lost, Kings lost, but they did have 7 strikeouts tonight, the Dodgers did. So that means tomorrow you can go to Jack in the Box, get a free Jumbo Jack for the purchase of a large drink only at LA area restaurants tonight. Yoshinobu Yamamoto carried the load. He had 5 of those 7 Dodgers strikeouts. Speaking of Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Nomar, what did you see from him tonight?
A lot what he talked about. When he gets interviewed, he talked about the inconsistency today. Like sometimes he found it, and then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, I couldn't really get my rhythm. After short times, we're going to go to the K zone. We're going to see, early on, not being able to command the fastball. We talk about how important it is especially when you have a devastating split finger. Here he is with that leadoff walk. Very uncharacteristic. We also heard Dave Roberts talk about it, but at the same time, there were times when he made some really good pitches there. I mean, that pitch wasn't that bad, but it didn't have the same bite of his typical split finger. That's why it ended up getting hit. When you're on, especially with that fastball, then the bite of that split finger is even more devastating. But we can see here where it's uncharacteristic, getting those walks, some off the plate, but he would make the pitches when he needed to get himself out. Even though he got himself in trouble at times, still finding a way to buckle down down to try to get out of it in some form or fashion. And he did. And that's what an ace is supposed to do. Even when they don't have their best stuff, they still keep their team in it and give you a chance to win. And breaking ball there, getting ground balls, still pitching to contact, still trying to gobble up innings. His pitch count was getting up, so he wasn't as efficient, but that's going to happen when you don't have the command. But at the same time, recognizing still having to make some pitches when he needed to. You know, this one was just tough. Tip your hat, able to stay inside that ball to get that third run, yet still trying to figure out a way. Listen, I got to minimize the damage, still keep it close, that hopefully the offense can get back into this game. Listen, tough day, you know, wasn't his best, but like I said, even the line, when you look at it, still was just one earned run over a day where you really didn't have your stuff and that you were that inconsistent, still gave you kind of a chance to try to win that game.
Yeah, he is definitely a fighter, and that's one thing I really appreciate him. He didn't have his best stuff. He fought, but wrong guy to have one of these nights. Paul Skeens was on the other side.
Yoshinobu, when you look at this outing, what did you feel was just missing that was going to be leading to the walks or even the lack of first pitch strikes?
今日の登板を振り返って、何が今日欠けてたとかいけなかったなと思いますか？
立ち上がりから、ボール先行してしまい、なかなかこうリズムを作りきれないピッチングだったなと思います。
Yeah, it's just that, from the early in the game, I was just falling behind in the count, and then I couldn't establish my rhythm.
Did you find, though, at least maybe after that second inning, to be able to get through 5, something was kind of getting back on track, or did you just feel like this was a game where you just felt out of sync?
そのゲームが進んで投げていくうちに5回まで、のうちになんとか普段の力が取り戻せるかなと思いました。
2回の、最後の方から、3回4回と。どんどん感覚は良くなってたんですけど、5イニングになっても、なんとかピンチの場面を乗り切れず、すごく悔しかったですね。
As the game moved on, like a second inning, third inning, I did start feeling my stuff was becoming better. However, I couldn't grind it through. I couldn't get out of myself in trouble.
Usually on a night like this where your command is not as good, usually on a night like this, like where your command's not as good, is there something that you usually can sort of pinpoint to that sort of causes the command to be off?
こういったゲームの時っていうのは自分でどこが悪かったとかそういうピンポイントで分析して考えたりして投げてるんですか？
やっぱり必ず原因はあるので、それを、早く感じ取ってというか、早くどこが良くないのかっていうのをよく考えて、今日も割と早い段階で調子は少しずつ良くはなってたんですけど、結果的に、すごくリズムの悪いピッチングだったので、良くなかったなと、思います。
So, when game like this, there is a reason for it, and then I was feeling getting better. Actually, as a matter of fact, at the early the phase of the game, but today because my stuff I couldn't bring back my normal stuff.
Grounds crew is already hard at work prepping Dodger Stadium for tomorrow's middle game of this series. It's the beauty of baseball, Jerry. It's always another game tomorrow. Almost always.
Can't wait.
5回を投げて5安打1失点、4四球ながらも5三振を奪い、決して悪い内容ではなかった。球数94、ストライク58、防御率は依然として驚異の 1.06 を維持している。しかし結果は敗戦だった。一方、対するポール・スキーンズは6回1、3を5安打無失点、9三振という圧巻の内容でチームを勝利に導いた。数字だけを見れば確かに今日の主役はスキーンズだったかもしれない。それでも山本がマウンド上で見せた粘り、諦めずに投げ続ける姿勢は見る者全ての心を打った。日本には7転びは起きという言葉がある。7度転んでも8度目には起き上がる。その精神こそスポーツマンに求められる本当の強さだ。たとえ一度の敗北に沈んだとしても努力は決して裏切らない。今日の悔しさは必ず明日の糧となる。幕末の志士たちもまた一度や二度の挫折では決して歩みを止めなかった。何度打ちのめされても 未来を信じて立ち上がり続けた。その積み重ねが日本という国を新たな時代へと導いたのだ。山本由伸の挑戦もまだ始まったばかりだ。今日の敗戦すら彼にとっては次なる成長の種となるに違いない。あなたはどうだろうか。たとえ目の前に立ちはだかる壁が高くても諦めずにもう一度立ち上がる覚悟があるだろうか。